a response to Corey's recent upload, Antinatalist Ironies. The belief that any life brought into existence by humans is owned by those humans. There seems to be sort of ownership issues here. You do not own another life. You cannot own another life. How can you miss a lost loved one? How can you own a loved one? You don't own. Love isn't about ownership. It's about acceptance. It seems to be about ownership, this, to some extent. Though the interaction I've had here is quite wide in its reduction, perhaps. I don't know these terms. I haven't been educated into the corporate complicity that allows comfort and fails to recognise the whole as a consequence of its acceptance of the comfort through the complicity of its participation in that which we allow existentially, the suffering you call it, the suffering that is man-made. I don't actually like the word suffering. It's problematic. Endure, it comes from endure, and one endures things. Though to define that as suffering, it could be called sufferance. It's problematic for me, and I cannot relate to the word whatsoever. In fact, it's also quite dangerous because we are creating this experience that we are experiencing, and the belief in that which is through our acceptance and allowance of that is quite dangerous currently, because there's only two ways to go from my perspective, and that is a world where all life can live with dignity equally, consequential to our creating of that experience, because the world where all life can live with dignity equally is already here. What's not here is the dignity, and the only people that can put that there, or the only beings that can put that there, are the humans that currently accept and allow inequality and deprivation as normality. There is only life and joy, I said. Whilst I might not have been educated in the corporate complicity system that produces those who believe they have intellect and intelligence, that produces intelligence. Not a very good video, Anthony. I'm going to continue, because I don't work on scripts, and I accept that I could present myself better and should be focusing on that and know the ways to do that, and therefore will be doing that. Though intellect and intelligence aren't the same thing. Intellect's knowing. You don't need to be educated in a system of compliance to know. I got expelled from school when I was 15. I'm glad. I'm glad because I'm not interested in calling those who cannot speak in the same terms as me names. like in the playground still, as those that believe themselves to be intelligent do often when encountering me and my perspectives and experiences. Not about or trying to prove anything to anyone, because the realisations that each human has to make and will make, and they have no choice in that ultimately, unless they decide to remain ignorant. I cannot assist with that. In fact, you cannot give a person realisation, and realisation is a thing only an individual can make. So on the problem with suffering, I believe that suffering is a human condition, that it is a thing that life is definitively. Then we will bring it into existence, and the only other way we can go besides living with dignity equally is the mutation of our experience as, you might call it sentient life. I'm not too sure what the word means. Though anybody wants to see what the mutation will look like, go and have a look at the effects of depleted uranium weaponry on the unborn in Iraq and how it manifests. And then understand that unless we stop such stupidities of forcing our will on others and willfully demanding what they have as a consequence in our continued participation in the manipulation of denying the technological advances that are already known as a consequence of self-interested oil and gas and banking conglomerates. So you cannot own another being. You can believe you can, but you actually can't. And any antinatalist. So you brought a child into existence, or you believe you brought a child into existence. The child comes into existence as a consequence of a mating ritual, a copulation, inseminating of a egg. And it decides it doesn't like the environment because it believes itself to be suffering. It has the power to remove itself from existence by taking its own life, and therefore I suggest antinatalists do the same. If you don't like it, remove yourself. What's stopping you? No one's stopping you. You're free to do it, although perhaps it is illegal, though I doubt very much whether the physical reality will be able to impose any sanction upon you for doing that. That's just a suggestion. I'm not suggesting you actually do it. I'm just suggesting it's a suggestion to consider if you don't like life, because life is an enjoyable experience. Self-honest introspection, understanding who you are, what you are, and why you are what you are, consequential to many, many things, is very enjoyable. Pleasure means acceptance, by the way. I've looked into it deeply, and I've found that we are inherently creative beings, and that's what we are. And what's occurred is our creativity has been hijacked, manipulated to enable a continuation of a false value system that is called money, a thing that we've needed for whatever reason to exchange as currency. The vision is a world where We do what needs doing, because we can do, because we should do, because we have to enable dignity to be lived equally. There's no exchange, there's no currency. There is no need for that. We have an environment of abundance that is currently participating in a financial system that creates lack. It's a contradiction there. Imagine money into existence. There's lack, there's debt, there's non-existence. When we live in an environment of abundance. I won't apologise for my inability to convey these ideas. I'm not here to dictate anything to anyone. I'll share my experiences and perspectives. I am a professor of communications, unfortunately, as far as intelligence goes, although it's more intellect. Corey is an example that, well, I can see why people would aspire to be able to look at things in the way that he does. I think I've said enough for now. I haven't covered everything I wanted to cover. It's 11 minutes. Let's end it there. Merry Christmas, Corey. All the best.